Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Kauai County Council Roundup. We are covering yesterday's meeting, October 2nd. It was our committee meetings. I'm Mel Rapozo, your chair, with our vice chair, Kipukai, Kualii. Aloha. Thank you for joining us again. Yesterday, we had a short agenda. It was quite a long meeting.
You start with the certificates?
Yes, we're going to start off with the certificates because I thought that was awesome. We started off with a certificate for Tahiti Nui. We all know Tahiti Nui out there in Hanalei Town, pretty much a landmark for our island. Celebrating 60 years in business. Actually, they're in business for 61, but we basically recognized Christian Marston and his lovely wife.
And the family and the staff.
And we spent a lot of time talking about Christian's mom, Auntie Louise, who her and her husband started this amazing, what started out as a bar, a watering hole, and then has now turned out an amazing restaurant with amazing luau's.
The locals and the tourists get to enjoy together.
A lot of local Hawaiian music. You guys all know Tahiti Nui. So we spent a lot of time sharing our memories of the place and wishing them 60 more years at least of success. 61 years for any business on this little rock is difficult.
And you had a story that went all the way back to your officer days. Right?
40 years ago.
Mine was only like 10 years ago.
Congratulations to Tahiti Nui and many more years of success. And then we had the Kauai House Senior Softball Championships. One of our teams right out of Kauai House showed up in force, actually. We had a bunch of them in the chambers, just recognizing that accomplishment of going over to the Big Island and winning some medals. So
they went to Kona. Kauai had, 13 teams that went over to Kona for this 48th annual senior tournament. And so I think they came in second place, this senior team. And so it's amazing. You could see the team, the camaraderie, they talked too about how it's not just about the baseball, but it's about the relationships and the brotherhood that they've built between their team.
And the age range of that team.
Wow.
Remember what the low end was? 56.
Yeah.
What the high end was?
83.
83.
Yeah. And that's Carl. I know Carl from Country Line Dancing. He's amazing. He stays very active.
Does not look 83.
Not at all, because of all his activity, I think.
Awesome. Anyway, and then we got into the agenda and we started off with our building code. It was a committee meeting in the Public Works Committee. We got to adopt the building code, and I got to say that I'm very happy with our buildings division. The amendments that came forth is really going to reduce the cost of construction of homes. A lot of the requirements that the National Building Code or International Building Code requires puts unnecessary cost, like insulation on homes. And in Hawaii, we live in a very different world. So they do allow us some flexibility. So we did have some amendments, one being that if you do have an open beam ceiling and you want to run AC into your home, we now make the insulation optional. The other big thing in this amendments that I am very happy and excited is that without this amendment, if you want to expand your home, many of us live in single wall, the Hicks home, which is what I live in, single wall, redwood. But if I was to go out and wanted to extend my house, the construction would have to be double wall, which increases the cost tremendously. So with this amendment, you will be able to expand your house, extend your bedroom, add an addition, and you would be able to still maintain the single wall feature. So that is awesome.
And as you're hearing, these are really important updates. The state did pass their update, and then we had 3 or 5 years to do our additional updates, and then if we didn't do them, automatically it would just be what the state passed.
Correct.
So it's good that our building people and our council members and our building folks have incorporated all the ideas that came from the councils.
Yeah, we worked real closely with our Contractors Association of Kauai, as well as a lot of the local people that work in construction. One of the other amendments that we put in was expanding the exemptions for permits for structures in your house or in your yard. Where currently is at 200 square feet. So if you build anything that's 201 square feet, you got to go through the whole building permitting process, which is crazy. If you buy a Home Depot shed, the plastic sheds, and if it's over 200 square feet, you gotta go get a building permit. So we expanded that to 300 square feet. So, you can put up a nice 12 by 12 and not have to go through that entire process. So that's a good thing. And yeah, so that passed out of committee. It'll be at the full council next week for final vote, and that code will be adopted. We had an interesting discussion on the tennis courts
Parks
at
and Rec, yeah.
Wilcox School. The legislature last year decided that they were going to reclaim all of the lands that our DOE facilities sat on or were adjacent to the schools. So Ele School, Wilcox, and there were 5 parcels that were basically sitting on county land that the state reclaimed. They inadvertently, which we found out today thanks to Representative Luke Evslin, who sent us an email. I'm not sure if you saw it. It came in this morning, but it was a mistake that they reclaimed the parcel that our tennis courts sat on, which basically took that out of our inventory, took all of our management and maintenance authority away. And it was concerning because that is one of the most heavily used tennis courts for tennis and pickleball, right? The pickleball craze is on. So the discussion surrounded that specific tennis court, and we, in our CIP budget that we passed, we put in funds to resurface that, but because of the state taking it back, it didn't matter. We're not going to fix or resurface the state's parcel. This morning, Representative Luke Evslin, shout out to him because he watches our meetings. And he
Former
watched the
council
meeting.
member.
Yeah, former council member, but you think he had more important things to do than watch our meeting, but he still does. So Luke, mahalo, man, I appreciate you. He emailed us this morning and informed us that it was a mistake, and they are actually working, and the governor and the DOE and our mayor, Derek Kawakami, is in agreement that that parcel should come back to the county. So they are working on that. And Luke is taking it one step further. He's actually going to introduce a CIP bill at the next session to partially or 50% fund the tennis court resurfacing. So good news for our pickleball players and tennis players. So that was it. And then we had on Kauai, we have an arborist commission. We have a county arborist, and anytime you want to do something to a tree, a historical tree, or you got to go through the arborist. Well, in this case, Sun Village, the senior housing down behind Wilcox Hospital, they have an exceptional tree, and it is a huge
Shower tree, I think, right?
Yeah,
Well, there's a
it's
formal
a
name.
big tree, and it's in the middle of their parcel.
The roundabout entryway.
Yeah, and it's actually really nice. My father-in-law used to live over there, and it provides a lot of shade, and it's just nice. So anyway, the residents and management of Sun Village wanted to put that tree on the list of exceptional trees, which protects the tree. That does require council approval, and that was up yesterday. So I know when it came up for the first reading, we had a lot of discussion about these trees. But yesterday it was quickly passed again unanimously.
Well, there were even people in the audience to testify, I think,
Yeah.
from the neighborhood association.
You know,
Sun Village Association.
trees are important. It really is. And
Especially exceptional trees.
yeah. So
Designated.
if you have a tree that you really love, let us know. We put an exceptional tree. Basically, we protect that tree.
Well, once the committee makes that determination.
Right,
So
right.
the
So,
experts.
yeah. And then came the
big one.
discussion,
We
discussion
spent
on
like,
our,
2 or 3 hours
yeah,
on
it
that.
was long. It was a request that I put on and discussing our search and rescue efforts and the cooperation between the Kauai Police Department, the Fire Department, DLNR, and Kauai Search and Rescue. And the questions surrounded the use of volunteers in our community. We have a lot of experts in the community that are hunters, they're hikers. We recently gave certificates out to Clayton Kubo, Eben Manini, and Tim O'Rourke, who unfortunately found the one of our missing people who had died. But they were volunteers that had come together and using the information that they received and were able to locate the body. But there's some debate about who should be allowed to search and who's not to search. So the council is trying to bring the parties together and come up with some sort of collaborative effort where we can utilize these talents. Uh, but the current,
And also too, to get a sense of, well, what is the procedure?
right,
And I think the clearest thing we learned is that yeah, there's KPD, there's fire, there's KEMA, and then there's this nonprofit in the community, KSAR, Kauai Search and Rescue, but that ultimately it begins and ends with KPD.
correct,
And KPD is the one that will initiate an official search, and then they also are the ones that will terminate an official search.
right,
So then, this is a matter of the public also hearing from KPD and understanding what it is. And I think one of the basic things was that KPD basically talked about they don't have a process in place, but they accept that they should work to come up with some process to engage and accept volunteers' participation. But that right now, without a process, liability, I think, was one of the things they said, and then also not getting themselves into a situation where and this is not these guys particularly, because they're hunters with long time experience, but someone that might step forward to try and volunteer may not have the skills or training.
Like me or you.
Yeah,
Like me or
like
you.
us.
Can you
And
imagine?
then we end up getting lost and hurt, and then they have to
mean,
come and rescue us too.
in times of a crisis, everybody wants to help, right? So, but can you imagine Kipukai and myself showing up at the incident command post at a missing hiker, showing up at Kokee and saying we want to help, and we go, and then in about probably 45 minutes we would need help. We would need rescuers to come help us. So
Yeah.
I will say this: Kauai Search and Rescue, which is a nonprofit that I think many people don't know about, did an amazing presentation.
I think it's like something like 20 years already.
Yeah, I
Didn't
mean,
realize.
I think
They started with a handful of
Well,
members.
they started with dogs. They
in
started with dogs,
2000,
yeah,
and today they have like 30 plus members. Yeah, they gave a very thorough presentation.
Well,
yeah.
and I'm glad they did, because I think a lot of the public needs to understand what Kauai Search and Rescue does. That it's not just again, it's not just dogs. They do medical, they do tracking, they do all kinds of things. They are nonprofit. They don't charge the county. Right now, they have a memorandum of understanding with KPD.
Yeah.
So when there is a missing person, KPD makes the call, as the vice chair said, and they contact Kauai Search and Rescue, and then they deploy, and they work in conjunction with KPD, who becomes the incident commander.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is, in any search or any type of operation, incident command, it could be a fire, it could be a tsunami, it could be a hurricane. You need control, you need command and control, and I think that was the message that was
It was
being
interesting
portrayed.
to learn the difference between incident command and unified command.
Right.
And how basically, in either case, KPD is in charge. But with unified command, that's when KPD brings in additional partners, like the fire department, and then also with Kauai Search and Rescue. But the clearest thing from Kauai Search and Rescue's side too was that they only deploy when KPD calls them to
Right.
deploy.
They will not self-deploy. If you needed a search and rescue thing done and you call them, they're gonna basically tell you the same thing.
Yeah,
They will not
KPD.
self-deploy, and that's because of the memorandum of understanding. Because in that, all of the technical issues and the liability issues, all covered in that memorandum. So they can only respond if KPD.
I knew one
calls.
of the testifiers, I think it was the surviving girlfriend from one of the lost people, said that maybe they should relook at that MOU so that maybe if KPD calls off the search, that KSAR perhaps could continue searching if they wanted to, but they would have to relook at the MOU. So.
Yeah, she said something that was very profound to me, and she says, "Let's use this case," which was which her partner, her boyfriend was found tragically. But let's use this case to make the process better. And I think the message was heard loud and clear. I did speak with the Assistant Chief, Elliot Kay, after the meeting, and he was very receptive and very willing to make make it better. And that's all we can ask for as the county council. And I thought the meeting went quite well. Again, incorporating our local, I call them the local talent, our local experts out there who, like I would get lost in Kauai. I would. I mean, I would. And those guys know every single trail, nook and cranny, and they also in the Kapa'a Mountains, in the Wailua Mountains, the North Shore. We got experts all across this island, and I'm strongly encouraging KPD to figure out a process where we can incorporate them into the system so that our best efforts are used to locate missing people. And always remember that there's a family that is impacted. And I think many of our residents here understand that when you missing somebody, whether it's someone that went out swimming or diving or on a fishing boat or hiking or hunting, that stress is bad. And we just want to make sure that we remember that part of it, that component that our families are suffering. A very informational meeting, and again, it's a good time to tell you guys, you can watch the full meeting on Hawaii Channel 53 or at www.kauai.gov. Hit the webcast meeting button and you can watch any of our council meetings, as well as tune in live on Wednesdays at 8:30 in the morning.
Another thing on that too, at the end, I thought it was important too that we recognize that, people put their best efforts forward and sometimes they're not successful. But ultimately, when they put in the effort, and for a lot of these, with KSAR especially, they're all volunteers. They put in their time and money and to keep that going. And so we just absolutely have to be grateful and express our gratitude to them for that work and that effort. And it is a big help to the county as well. The police will tell you that, fire will tell you that, KEMA will tell you that.
Yeah, good point. We don't have the resources. We really don't have the resources available. And then our final committee, which Committee of the Whole, was 2 items. One was the additional request for $70,000 for our annual financial budget. And obviously that passed.
That's for an audit, right?
Yeah, what did I say?
Financial budget. I know you meant audit.
Yeah, I did. I did. That's why he's here, so every year we do the financial audit, and costs rise, and if the scope is expanded, it costs more money. So obviously we needed to put more money towards that, and this will go to the final reading on next Wednesday as well. And then we had one more for to establish the State Highway Enforcement Program Surcharge Fund for the County of Kauai. So basically, every time someone gets a ticket, there is a little surcharge attached that goes to the counties, and that is to be used specifically for enforcement of specific highway violations. So, yeah, it's a formality. We have to do this. We have to set up the program.
Otherwise, the state takes all the money, right?
Correct.
We got to get our little piece.
You know this as well as anyone. And as long as you've been on the council, and as long as I've been on the council, we have been asking the state legislature to give us a portion of the traffic fines, the non-adjudicated ones, the ones that people don't contest.
Yeah.
A county police officer writes the ticket, a county prosecutor charges the ticket, and we get no compensation. So this is a start, and I'm excited that it'll be used, and we'll be able to. The one that I asked KPD to really focus on is that on Kuhio Highway by McDonald's, if you're coming into Lihui, if you want to turn right into McDonald's to go to the drive-thru and you block the whole traffic, that's what this is for. There's a sign that says no stopping, standing, or parking. Guys, do not do that, because now, after next Wednesday, when this becomes law, you will get a ticket. You block the whole traffic.
McDonald's got to figure something out.
Yeah. Go around the block and come up the opposite way, and then, anyway. Then thank Huike again. Thank Huike. Roger, our cameraman here, making us look good. Making Kipukai look good. I cannot help. For allowing us to come in every week to share this real short recap. You can watch the full meetings. Again, as I said, on Hawaii Channel 53. or on www.kauai.gov. Click the webcast meeting button, and you can watch our shows on demand or live on Wednesdays at 8:30 in the morning. So appreciate you.
Aloha. Appreciate you.
Until next time,
Appreciate you.
ahui ho.
Aloha.